I think we lost Martha again. Can you hold on 1 minute,
Yep.
please?
Am I here?
Yes.
You are.
You are, we can hear you, Martha.
Uh, I think we may have lost Martha again.
We're pursuing her. We're in active pursuit.
Thank you.
Am I through now?
We hear
Yes, we can hear you.
Every time I do this, the mechanical voice comes on and says you are now muted. It hasn't done it yet though this time.
I see you're in the meeting, Martha, and I see you've been named.
Okay, good. It only
Yeah.
took
I don't know if-
8 minutes.
Works already. Just let me know when you're ready.
Andre, we're ready for you.
Thank you, Molly. Okay, good evening, everybody. Thanks for your patience. This is the New Shoreham Town Council meeting for Monday, June 7th, 2021. The New Shoreham Town Council is meeting via Zoom pursuant to State of Rhode Island Executive Order 20-46, dated June 12th, 2020, and as amended. We do not have the bandwidth to support a video link for members of the public. So if you'd like to raise your hand on your phone by pressing *9, you could unmute and mute yourself by pressing *6. We will call on you when your hand is raised, and if you could unmute after you're called up and let us know your name and what's on your mind this evening. Without any more announcements, I just want to thank Millie and Molly in the clerk's office for making all this happen for us this evening. And with that, I will go to number 1 on the agenda, which is public input. Does anybody have any public input for us this evening? I see 4 hands raised in the attendees column. I'll go to number 1, and it is 447-7735. If you could unmute yourself and state your name for the record. And you're unmuted.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, it's Christopher Blaine. It's 7385 is the cell phone, the last 4 digits. So the question I have, or public input I have, a couple of things. Number 1, I think it's high time that we went to in-person town council meetings, because this nonsense is getting a little bit hard to listen to each time you want to get to a council meeting. And it can't be that everybody's incompetent. It's very frustrating. I have a hard time hearing normally. My hearing isn't what it used to be. And it's very frustrating to try and listen on a cell phone to this meeting and get anything out of it. And the last time I went to go to public input, it never even showed up. And I'm doing exactly what I did tonight. That's number one. Number two, I've mentioned this to several people, but before someone gets killed on Old Town Road, how about putting a speed limit sign or two up? The west end of Old Town Road has been repaved, and right now there's one speed limit sign on Old Town Road. And for those of you who don't know where it is, I'll tell you, it's by the Historical Society. So when people are coming down Strip Gut from the airport and they take a right and they've got a good head of steam, people are going too fast. And I think that maybe some of it is they don't know what the speed limit is. You can say it's 25 miles an hour over the whole island, but there's other places that need to be looked at. But I think that's important. So that's about all I have. I'd just like to see some in-person meetings. And if someone could tell me when that starts, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, Chris, thanks for calling and thanks for your concerns. Marianne, I mean, I know this isn't on the agenda tonight, so it's not up for discussion, but I think you can answer that. We've had a lot of discussions about this.
I've ordered the webcam. We ordered it last week. Hopefully it'll be in sometime this week so we can test the meeting room. But as a reminder to the council and everyone else, with the executive order that is still in place, it's my understanding that it'll stay in place until the end of June. We still must provide the opportunity for the meetings to be held virtually. So, excuse me, so even though we'll be in person, we still have to provide a virtual opportunity for the folks that want to participate virtually. And that's what's with all the council in there, with the computers and Zoom, and you can see what happens with the feedback and stuff like that. That's the balancing act we'll have to work on when we test out with this new webcam, and hopefully we can get it to work.
I might add, if I may, that we did sign the contract with the new technology folks, and they
Correct.
are working with Marianne to get the room ready for all of us. I think there's, and I appreciate it. I mean, you know, a lot of people want us to be back, and I think every single town council feels the exact same way of getting that.
Including us, yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
No, you're welcome, Chris. 860-690-8421. I see your hand is up, and I don't know if you're muted. No, you're muted. If you could state your name.
Andre, on that last comment by Chris, I correct me if I'm wrong, Marianne, but we're going to, as we go into in-person meetings, we're going to continue to broadcast so that it'll be sort of a dual role. And I just wanted Chris to know that.
And that's this holdup, I think, right now is the technology.
Yeah.
If we didn't have to do that, I think we'd already be back in. 860. Oh,
Hello, can you hear me, Andre?
yes, I can. Thank you so much for calling. What's on your mind this evening? And your name?
Good evening, Andre. It's Elliot Nuremberg. I thank you for all of the work you all do. I'm calling because I've been out here since the beginning of May, and I go by Weldon's Way for a million errands virtually every day. And I see that the moped operators are still using Weldon's Way for training. I know you had talked 1,000 times. You said, don't ask you, there's going to be enforcement. What enforcement is taking place to stop the training on the public roadway? I haven't seen any enforcement yet, at least when I'm there. So can you tell me what's going on with that?
Well, Elliot, thank you for calling and thanks for your question. I think that to let everybody know, we are going to be having a readout of the summer with the chief at our next meeting on the 16th. But I think I will let Marianne, or the chief is on here, address that concern right now.
Sure.
So what we have done thus far, we do have officers that we have hired for the summer. We also have CSOs, and they were there on the weekend. I can tell you, I saw a police officer standing in front of with one of the moped operators right as the mopeds were leaving. What the mopeds are doing, they are going down Weldon's Way, stopping at the stop sign there at the Seacrest, and then turning around and coming back. The U-turns that we used to see in the middle of Weldon's Way, just beyond Aldo's, what I saw last summer, are not happening this summer. Granted, the police officers can't be there every minute of the day. But I can tell you on both Saturday and Sunday, when the first boats arrived, that police officers were there. And I think it's a much improvement compared to last year, but we still have things to work on as we go through the next couple of weeks with the new staff, the new chief, and the new CSOs.
Thank you, Mary. My question, though, is when I was there on the weekend, this past weekend, I did see, young people or old people, whoever, renters renting a moped and being directed to go down, to the stop sign by Seacrest and come back as part of their training. So I'm not sure what you're saying is different than past years. Can you just explain it more about it? I'm not dense, but I don't see what the difference is, what you're saying.
So what they're doing is they're coming to the end of Weldon's Way, they're stopping. More training is going on at the corner of Seacrest, and then they're going back down Weldon's Way. What you're not seeing is moped owners or staff standing in the middle of Weldon's Way or running with the moped up the street as they turn around in front of vehicles and then making a U-turn back.
Okay, I understand the difference. But what I'm hearing happen is the owners of the mopeds, not the renters, the operators and their staff, are watching them go to the corner of by Seacrest, by stop sign, and coming back. So in effect, they're still training on a public road. It's not that they're taking the moped, going to stop sign, and then going up High Street or going to Water Street or to the post office. Isn't that still considered training on the road?
Some of them are. From what I did see, some of them are going up on High Street. Some are going on Water Street. There are some that are turning around and going back down the road. They're not in the middle of the road. They're not running with the mopeds, and they're not making U-turns in the middle of the road.
Okay. The only other question I had, which I appreciate your answer, Mary Ann. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, the only question I have is, I've been driving around the island, not purposely, just because I have errands to do, friends to see, et cetera. And I've seen quite a few mopeds in the last few days, including over the weekend, where the operator, at least the one sitting in front, if it's a multiple person, two-person moped, wearing sandals or open-toed shoes, not just open-toed shoes, they're wearing sandals or flip-flops.
Yeah.
That's been state law for years. Has there been any enforcement of that? Because I doubt they change from shoes into flip-flops after they start driving.
It's my understanding that is not state law. The footwear is not required by state law. There's nothing in state law that requires them to wear certain footwear. We've been working with the moped owners and looking for them to have the riders voluntarily not wear to wear what I call closed-toed shoes. There's no state statute, to my knowledge, that requires the moped riders to have closed-toe shoes.
That wasn't my understanding, but I'll look into it and get back to Mary. I appreciate it.
Yep. If I may make comment.
Do we have Chief? Marion, do we have him, or is it just my computer?
Yeah, he's in. I know he's on the
Chris Ward,
boat
may I make a
headed
comment
to the
on-
main. Okay, yeah, we got him
Can you hear
now. Yeah,
Now,
yes.
Go ahead.
okay. If I may make a comment on the last two things that were said. So first is the activity that's going on is not instructions. The mopeds are legally entitled to be on the roadway, to go down as long as they're following all the traffic laws, even though it's a public way. And as the town manager is able to stand in the roadway, they're not able to road. It's a motor vehicle. It's a licensed operator. They're able to travel on the roadway and obey all the traffic laws and turn around and come back. The open sandal or the toe, there is no state regulation prohibiting open toe. Again, that was more of a regulation that the town and you all had headaches on that. So we're getting many calls to the department. Nothing illegal about someone with sandals on right now.
Thank you, Chief. Did everybody get that?
Why don't you just recap a little bit?
It was a little broken up. I just want to make sure everybody heard that from the chief. Elliot? Mark's about to raise your hand. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into it because it's not on the agenda, so we don't prolong this, but simply put, after decades of dealing with this problem, the slumber party is officially over when it comes to the moped issue. Keep in mind, everyone, to be a little patient. We have a new council who's finally committed to this issue, a new chief who's out there. I witness it because the only difference between me the last 20 years is now I'm retired and I have more time to be out there. So I'm even more of a pain in the butt because I have more time. And we have a new town manager, and this trio of groups and people are committed to this issue. One of the things I'm pushing for and will get is that at every one of our town council meetings, the regular and the interim, we have an update on this very issue, just like we had updates for COVID. So we're on top of it. See something, say something. I'm deputizing everybody to be an ally with this particular issue.
Thank you, Mark. Anybody else from the council? And thank you, Chief. Elliot, you good?
Andre?
Oh, sorry, Sven. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I don't want to, this isn't an agenda topic, but I thought Elliot brought up a lot of good points and I appreciate the input. I think the feedback in constructive and helpful ways is always good. And it's interesting because I've talked to some people who haven't seen a lot of coverage. I actually was there Saturday and saw 2 policemen and 3 CSOs all over Weldon's Way. I met every single boat and actually saw the chief directing traffic on Water Street and really seeing the congestion that occurs there, which is, all of us know, I think is the first time I've seen an officer directing traffic on Water Street as the boat unloaded. So to Mark's point, keep up the discussion. Let's try and always keep civil. But I also think that time, and you're going to see all the work start to pay out. And this is a long road, so let's stay the course. And I think Mark's exactly right. Let's keep it on the agenda and have a discussion every meeting. But I just wanted to say that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sven. Anybody else from the council? Okay, I got 466-2829, and then Richard Villa after 466-2829. 2829, if you could say your name for the record and what's on your mind.
Yes, thank you, Andre. This is Keith Lang, and I'm a year-round resident who lives off Cooneymus Road. And I appreciate everything Mark just said and Sven, but I think there's a little bit different take of something that I've been picking up. And out of respect for your time, I'll get straight to the point. I think the new signs that have been placed by the town to deter mopeds from riding on dirt roads are unfortunately not working. And from my observations, here's why. The signs are small. They're only installed on town-owned dirt roads. They're not always placed where they can be easily seen. And most important, they're confusing and they're not explicit. What do I mean? The sign says only no mopeds on this road. They do not say why. They do not reference the town ordinance which states mopeds are prohibited, and I quote, upon any unimproved and or unpaved public or private roads, unquote. The signs also do not reference the fine for failure to comply with this ordinance. And the results are, I was out this weekend, I saw a number of moped riders ride right on by the signs in the last few days. Why is this a major health and safety problem? If many moped riders can't control them on paved roads, how are they likely to do so on sandy, rutted, and uneven surfaces? If the goal is to generally inform the public moped riding on dirt roads is prohibited, this doesn't seem to be working. It's failing. This could lead a moped rider to think only marked dirt roads are off limits, and other unimproved lanes and roads are fine for them to ride on. This could in turn lead residents living on dirt roads to put up their own signs to clarify the situation, leading to a whole plethora of signs all over the island. And I know why residents might resort to doing so, because every summer we get moped riders, not only on the dirt road we live off, but right in our yard. Our driveway is often rutted and uneven. If a moped rider were to have an accident in our yard, who's liable? In summary, this is fundamentally a health and safety issue that could be easily addressed by signage clearly stating mopeds are not allowed on any underlined dirt roads, and there is a penalty for doing so. The current signs do go nowhere near that. There is no information that imparts that message. So, in summary, I respectfully ask the council to please take effective action now before the truly busy season arrives and we have more carnage than we have in recent years, which has been already way more than we should. So I would thank you for your consideration and hope that you will see fit to do something, because I just don't think this is working. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith, and thanks for your comments. Can I just, for my own, a question came up in my mind about dirt roads and whatnot, and some of the roads are private, but they're dirt road. They're maintained by associations and whatnot. Can I ask the chief, or maybe Mary Ann would know, is if the town has an ordinance against, these mopeds on any dirt road, like, does that include could law enforcement fine mopeds on dirt roads that aren't, so to speak, state or public roads?
So let me jump in here. I'm not sure the answer to that question. However, I do agree with Mr. Lang. Both Matt and I agreed with him. The signs that were purchased and installed probably weren't conveying the message that we need to convey. So new signs have been ordered, and they're on order, and hopefully they'll be in soon. And the police department, I'm pretty confident, cannot, based on what Matt is texting me as he's on the boat, he is saying that, and I thought this was the case, and I need to confirm it, that they cannot enforce anything on dirt roads. So if someone's on a dirt road with a moped, that's a private road, they cannot enforce that. And I thought that was the case. The new moped signs just have a moped with a slash through it, says no rental mopeds beyond this point by town ordinance, and it has the police sticker on it. We anticipate those signs coming in relatively soon, and we'll get them installed. So I do agree with Mr. Lang, the signs we did purchase originally and installed probably didn't convey the message we were looking for.
Thank you, Mary Ann, for that clarification. Mark?
Again, real quick, this goes back to the source, to the disingenuous and untrustworthy owners who swear they've instructed people that they're not allowed on dirt roads, and we all know they're pretty much not doing that. So maybe the attention of the police or the CSOs could be to step closer during training and see if indeed that is part of the regiment of what the people are instructed to do, or more importantly, what not to do.
Thank you, Mark. Any other more comments on the topic? Go ahead, Keith.
To the extent that we need another anecdote, we've had mopeds on Beacon Hill Road Saturday and Sunday every weekend since they started renting. So either the signs are ineffective or the training is ineffective, and I think it's probably both. The idea of those mopeds going up or down that big hill on Beacon Hill is it's astounding to me that there hasn't been a more serious accident out here. So as Keith says, it really is a public safety, public health issue.
Thank you, Keith. Anybody else on the topic? Richard Villa, I see your hands up. If you could unmute.
Andre,
Oh, I'm sorry, Martha. Hang on, Rick.
just before you move on in this, I do think keeping the signs not getting any more complicated than the one that's being proposed, I guess the one that's just been ordered, is important, because the more verbiage that's on signs, the less likely people are going to read it. And I will say my first reaction to the sign was it's not big enough, and then I realized, oh, it's a stop sign. What is a stop sign? I mean, it's a universal sign. So I think people are choosing. I mean, I personally have never had mopeds at my place. I guess they're too interested in going to the beach to come up here, but at least never when I've been here. But I do think keeping something simple that people will just the simpler it is, the more likely people it's going to catch people's eyes. There's too many words on it. People are simply not going to read it. We just know that's reality. Thanks.
Thank you, Martha. And on the topic, I had some residents of High Street, contact me and ask me what happened to the big orange sign that was there, while the work was going on. No mopeds allowed up this point. And I asked Mary Ann where that sign actually was, and apparently it's been stolen. So this is why we will get a new sign. But we just, like I said, somebody stole that sign.
Yeah, the new signs will be installed just beyond the bend, so it's beyond the local businesses there, and they'll be put up. So the other ones were on the sidewalk, and they shouldn't be on the sidewalk anyway. So we're getting signs to put up near the bend on High Street, beyond the Atlantic.
Thanks, Mary Ann. Rick Villa, hang on one second. Sven Riesem has his hand up.
Yeah, Andre or Mary Ann, I thought Keith Lang brought up a couple of really good points, and one of them was on the private roads. And I heard Mary Ann's comments that, or the chief saying, hey, we really can't go onto private land, et cetera. But I'm wondering whether the town, and maybe we can consider this in an appropriate meeting, could make signs for private roads, and maybe they reflect very clear or similarly what the public road signs do. Like Martha said, keep it simple. But I think if we could make available to road owners, private access ways, whatever you want to call them, a clear, simple sign that they can put up on their land, that may be a good way to continue to reinforce the point. Because I think Keith Lang's comment was really appropriate, that we need to be consistent about this, and not just consistent, but pervasive. So having them as many places as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Sven. Anybody else on the topic? All right, Rick Villa, if you could unmute and let us know what's on your mind.
All right, am I unmuted?
Yes, thanks, Rick.
All right. So on Memorial Day, May 31st, I sent an email to the entire town council, including the town clerk and the town manager, regarding the proposed development of the Block Island Airport property as described in their Cushman and Wakefield on a surprise announcement. And this, in that request, I asked for this item to be added to tonight's agenda. And I did that on May 31st, on Memorial Day, to all of you. And I received no response. And after the meeting, the work session, which was the RIAC parking issue, which was a separate issue from this other proposed development of airport property, insofar as that Cushman and Wakefield announcement hadn't even been released when this parking item was added to the town council agenda. So I see, as of tonight's agenda when it was set, that my request was not honored. I did on Thursday after the work session ask for confirmation that my request had been granted. And I was told by the town clerk, Molly Fitzpatrick, that the agenda closed on Wednesday. And I responded to her that I had made that request well before Wednesday, on Monday, the 31st. And let's say that's not a working day because it was a holiday. So certainly I was well within legal rights of making that request. I was told that the first warden and the town manager set the agenda, and therefore that was their issue or my issue with them. I have heard nothing from either the town manager nor the first warden regarding any explanation as to why my request was not honored. And this is an issue that I would imagine you have received substantial pushback, or perhaps putting it differently, some expressions of widespread concern by not only abutters, but conservation groups and other members of the community. So this was not some request that I wanted to paint my house pink in the historic district. It was a reasonable request, and this issue is very important that we address it. And I am surprised and disappointed by the lack of response to my request by the town council, specifically the first warden and the town manager, who I am told are in charge of setting the agenda.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, so well, I'm not going to get into internal communications with my clerk, but we had this, I did discuss this with the clerk, and then I had reached out to, I reached out to Sven to discuss what we're going to do with Rick's letter. I've been thinking about it all weekend, and I do believe that Sven reached out to you today to discuss what he and I thought would be the best course of action. Now, I'm not sure how the other council members feel about it, but I mean, I guess, Sven, you did reach out today.
Yep.
And we are going to agenda this item. So, like I said, I mean, that's just the RIAC thing with a resolution. I thought it best to poll the council to see where they stood on this for an agenda item. And, you know, hearing none, I spoke to Sven about it. And like I said, I believe he reached out, and that's where we stand with that right now.
Yeah, Andre, can I
Go ahead.
jump in? Yeah, just real briefly, you know, when Rick and I talked, I think I will say we agreed, and I hope you would agree that I suggested and proposed to you and the town manager that we have an agenda item, and I'm going to make up the title now, but something like, you know, non-aviation uses of the Block Island Airport, or something of that nature, so it stays away from parking. It can be very specific. And I think, as you and I talked, Andre, it'll be great to hear from everybody in a very constructive way what the concerns are, and they range across the board, so that we as a council can hear from everybody prior to any meetings with RIAC, so that we can share our thoughts, and then most importantly, collectively as a council, really be able to meet with RIAC and reflect the comments and concerns and interests of the community. So whether that is in early July, I agree that it should not be with RIAC. There should be an internal, quote unquote, island internal meeting. And I believe that will, for our discussion, be on an agenda. So Rick, thank you for bringing it up, and the goal of a good public, open discussion, transparent discussion will be had.
Thank you, Sven. And I'll add to that, that, you know, as I said at the RIAC meeting, RIAC did come out. They didn't come out, but we had, I believe, 2 meetings with them from the fall, and then 1 in January. but fully recognizing that that was a meeting with RIAC. And a lot of people just don't respond to those meetings, or, you know, they don't go to town council meetings and whatnot. So I think we were remiss in not actually having the conversation with not just RIAC and the town council as a town council or joint meeting with RIAC, but we should do this, we should be doing this a lot more with other topics, is having the discussion with the community. So we actually have the spirit and the thoughts and the needs of our community when we do speak to RIAC. So I think that's where we are with that. We want to have a community discussion about it with the community and not RIAC before we, you know, take any action on that. I hope that is acceptable. But I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't know what the rest of the council was thinking. This is just the conversation I had with my second warden on it. And I think that's where we're at. Mark, and then Keith.
Yeah, Rick, I'm not passing the buck, but I tried to get a hold of you within the past week. The only number I came up with was the old number 2000, and they told me all about what's happened. So I am all for this meeting, big time, within the island, and finally face-to-face with RIAC. So we are not pushing this to the side, or I certainly am not.
Keith? Thanks, Mark.
Same here. I mean, I take this very seriously. There were a lot of aspects of that conversation last week that I found pretty disturbing. And I've heard from a lot of people in the community, and I'm in. I think Andre's right, Sven's right, Mark's right. I'm looking forward to the conversation. And by the way, maybe it does take the form of a resolution. I don't know, but we have to have the conversation. And you know, I appreciate everybody who's reached out to me. Richard, you know, Rick has, Henry has, and a number of others. So we got to have the conversation as a community, decide what our priorities are there, decide what the go no go things are from our perspective, and move on.
Thank you, Keith. Anybody else? Rick? Rick, Phil, you good?
Yeah, am I back on?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Okay. And just in closing, I just want to encourage all of the town council members that, having had myself over a quarter of a century interaction with the Rhode Island Airport Corporation, that some of you are old enough to remember Jonestown, and I caution you not to drink the Kool-Aid.
I think anybody who's had any contact, whether it be 5, 50, or 25 years, has figured that out. Best way to approach it.
It was a problem before it was RIAC.
Yeah. All right. So I think, Rick, thank you so much for calling in and concerns and comments on that. And we will move forward. 1-646-246-6333. I see your hand is up. If you could unmute, let us know what your name is and what's on your mind. 646-246-2462. Uh, 646-246-2633. Where'd they go? 646. All right. All right. You're on mute.
Hello, can you hear me now? Hi. Hi, my name is Victor Hong. I'm the one that.
Oops.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, right now we
Hello.
can't. Go ahead, Victor.
Okay. I have a couple of suggestions. One is that the town should send secret shoppers as renters to the various moped operators to observe and document if they're actually complying with the new safety and training requirements. And that could easily be done where somebody just goes up to an operator, looks to rent a moped and see if they're really given warnings not to ride on dirt roads and to undergo the proper training. Because I suspect that a lot of these moped operators are just going to just flout the law. And another suggestion is that the town should, given the existence of these placards, identify the cost of mopeders who crash or do property damage and bill the operators directly for it. That's something that should be considered, because ultimately, if you force the operators to internalize the costs of the risks, that's going to get a better change in behavior. And then finally, when the mopeds are in accidents, the people involved on it, both as riders and drivers, should be given mandatory DWI tests to see if they're under the influence of alcohol and drugs. And I think that you have a few people, if they're caught and convicted for DWI on mopeds, that will get the message through more loudly and clearly. You basically got to make people eat the cost of their risks. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for your comments this evening. Keith Stover, you have your hand up?
I was just going to point out, maybe not everybody has been listening or over the last several months. We're in court now with the moped operators over the new ordinance that was passed. So, you know, they don't have to follow that ordinance until the judge rules one way or the other. So I just, we can have the discussion about enforcement and about the environment that the chief is working to create and the work that Marianne is doing, you know, all of which I think is very, very positive. But we can't be holding the chief or police officers or CSOs or the town manager accountable for enforcement of an ordinance that is not currently enforceable. So I just wanted to make that point. I think it's important for people to keep that in mind, that we're waiting for a Superior Court judge right now.
Thank you, Keith. Much appreciated. And, anybody else on the topic? Victor, again, thank you for your comments this evening. I see a 860-799-0871. If you could unmute and let us know your name and what's on your mind. You are unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. It's Sarah Bacon. Can you hear me?
We can, Sarah. Thank you.
Okay, great. Good evening. Just two questions, really. One is, have you considered doing a show cause hearing, which does seem to be within town's power, as a way to stop the activity on Weldon's Way legally as we await the court ruling? That's question number one. Question number two is relates to Keith's comments and the discussion earlier about safety and dirt roads, but safety more broadly, which is among the ordinances is the requirement of a safety video and closed-toed shoes and many other things, right? Is there an implementation plan for, let's say, some ordinances are granted, or some ordinances are, let's say town is granted 100% self-rule, okay? Do you have an implementation plan and a timeline for as to when that video needs to be produced, when the operators need to have closed-toed shoes, all of the things? How are they going to meet that before, say, Labor Day, once this ruling comes through? And I know, Mark, you mentioned weekly moped updates at town council meetings. That's a terrific idea. But I think we're going to need, as a community, hard deadlines to be met should town be granted self-rule on these ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. As I said, next week the chief will be giving a readout of the plan for the summer, But I will give Mary Ann or the chief the opportunity if you have any comments on this right now.
To echo what Keith said is we're waiting for a judge. We have a restraining order. The only thing, not the only thing, there's another thing. The safety training was in the ordinance that was amended that we have a restraining order with. There is no ordinance as it relates to closed-toe shoes, and there is no ordinance in the amended ordinance that the council adopted recently regarding closed-toed shoes. Where the closed-toed shoes came in was when we were meeting separately with the moped owners, and they had agreed to do that. We're in litigation with them right now. We've started talking to them a little bit and asking them if they would reconsider that. I want to be perfectly clear. There is nothing on the books right now as it relates to closed-toed shoes. And what I would really encourage folks to do, that if they are seeing moped riders without closed-toed shoes, please don't report that to the dispatch at the police department, because there's really nothing we can do about that. So please, closed-toed shoes is not in the ordinance. It is not in the amended ordinance that is currently under the restraining order. So I just want to be perfectly clear with that, because it seems it's come up a couple of times this evening.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Counselors?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
Over the years, we've approached the moped people and come up with these ideas to be done on the honor system. Well, I don't think I can recall any of the maybe dozens that we came forward with that they said they would do that they actually did. So we're dealing with a business that probably the next unconditional thing they do will be the very first unconditional thing they do. So now you understand what we're dealing with.
Thank you, Mark. Anybody have any questions on the topic? Seeing and hearing none. Sarah, you good?
Andre?
Martha Ball.
You know, I would only like to remind people, because this does seem to be forgotten, that even though the doctor, Dr. Warkoff, who's I would consider our medical expert, put on his list, I believe it was the second item on his list, was this closed-toed shoes. It was dismissed out of hand as unimportant. Well, this conversation happened at the council table. I'm glad to see people are finally recognizing it's important. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Anybody else?
That might have been directed to me. I never said it was unimportant, but with my almost 2 decades of scraping these people up, I wasn't caring about someone's pedicure. I was worried about head trauma, facial trauma, spleen damage, more so than I was worried about someone's toe injury.
Thank you, Mark. Anybody else? Martha, your box is lit up. Okay.
No, it's
I got it. Thank you, Martha.
let's just on here.
Thank you, Martha.
If it takes up the medical center's time, it's important, and I know this is not on the agenda.
Thank you. 401-447-7385. I see you have a hand up. If you could unmute yourself, state your name, and let us know what's on your mind. See the number anymore. 447.
Is that Chris Blaine? Yes. Maybe he didn't take his hand down.
Yeah, just really briefly. If you want to see what the original signs look like for mopeds regarding dirt roads before they were all stolen mysteriously and vanished, look at the sign where you go into Clayhead Trail, the Lapham property. It's short, it's to the point, and it's at the right height for anybody on a moped. You go down Coonimus Road, the sign's about 8 feet up in the air. Nobody's sitting on a moped at 4 feet above the ground is going to see a sign that's 8 feet up in the air. And again, confusing. The ordinance, the fine, everything is on that sign. It's the last one left. So I urge you to take a look at it. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you, because now that that's out, I'm sure that one will disappear within 24 hours. There must be an elf that comes in the night and grabs them. But anyway, that's my thinking on that.
A great
Thank you.
The height is a great.
Thank you, Chris. Much appreciated. Okay, so we're still into the public comment section of our agenda tonight. Does anybody else have any public comment for the council this evening? I see none. I would go to number 2 on the agenda, act to reset public hearing date for the draft amendments to the zoning regulations relating to the size and massing of residential structures. Zoning ordinance section 514 residential structures in the RA and RB zones, and section 111 of the general prohibitions. I had a conversation with Molly, the clerk, this evening, and she seems to want to reset this public hearing date for July 15th. Is that correct, Molly?
It's the 14th. July 14th.
It's the 21st.
Well,
There you go. Molly told me half an hour ago was the 14th.
It's
I'll
the
go.
third Wednesday in July. It's going to be the 21st.
Thank you, Molly.
That was my mistake, Marianne. I apologize.
No worries. We got the
I'm not losing my head yet.
July 21st.
Since I was unaware of this, could somebody explain why?
Yeah.
I was going to make the motion and then go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. I apologize. I didn't raise my hand. Sorry, Andrew.
The motion in my head. It's gone now. Go ahead. Anybody want to explain?
Sorry.
Am I explaining, or we're in the motion? Yeah.
Sorry about that, Andre.
Explain.
So we originally had slated this to be heard later this month on June 16th. However, when we did post it and looked at the ordinances posted, there was an error where something was listed as 8,000 square feet instead of 80,000 square feet. So as you can imagine, 8,000 square feet compared to 80 is a substantial change. So we had to re-advertise and redo it. And that's why it is now asking you folks to go with the July 21st, which is the third Wednesday, for the public hearing on this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. You all set, Keith?
Yeah, okay. I just find it really, this is quite timely, I think, because every week you wait, you lose an opportunity potentially to make, to make these newly acquired lots and properties conform to a new ordinance. And I know everybody knows that, but I think it's worth pointing out that it's not just the typographical error, it's a real mistake. And, maybe more eyes on it would pick that up or something, but gosh.
I hate to ask,
get the thing scheduled.
did we all have this and read it?
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, I did.
I did.
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing date for July 21st on the draft amendments to the zoning regulations relating to the size and massing of residential structures, zoning ordinances, section 514 residential structures in the RA and RB zones, and section 111 general prohibitions.
Second.
Second by Sven. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Mark?
Yes.
Martha?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
And Sven?
Aye.
I'm in Foshin. I am in favor of the motion. The motion will carry 5-0. The next item on the agenda is discuss and act on the proposal from Jill Stern, representing Highview Glen Incorporated, and Joan Grossman, Ab's House, regarding lot donations in exchange for an easement across the Thomas property. Marianne, will you give us just a little background on the discussion from last time? And
So if you remember, at the workshop the council had a couple of weeks ago with the Affordable Housing Committee, a discussion ensued. They told you, they updated the council on their plans regarding the property across the street from the Bull O'Brien Field, and also a resident by the name of Jill Stern, who owns property, I guess, in the Highview High Street across, behind the Thomas property. Town-owned Thomas property, owns land. And she was proposing, working with an engineer, of possibly exploring ways to access the property that she does own, and to work with the town as possibly of including with us providing an easement, and she would provide us with some lots that we could use for affordable housing and or town-owned housing. The council had extensive conversation with Jill Stearns, and Cindy Pappas was in the meeting also, with the three proposals that they came up. Two of the proposals, if you remember, what was listed as the orange and purple coded, both were on private properties. They were private properties of the housing association that is in the vicinity where they had those particular properties on High Street. The other option they had was the potential of putting a road along, cutting through the property of the Thomas property between where the town manages houses, and also there's a little brick wall there. When we looked at that and realized how wide the road needs to be, and also the closeness, we would find that that road would be really close to not only the town manager's own property, but also the property of the owners that live right next door there. So those were the options that were presented by the council. I get an impression from the council where I thought you were going. I don't like to say things publicly where I would think councils would go, and I learned early on in my career to let us know where their mindset is on this. So that's the recap of what was discussed. And we did say we'd bring it back to the council on June 2nd. I did mention I would check with our town engineer to ask specifically if he can locate other areas where the road has gone in. I have not finalized that discussion with him. Based on what happened this evening with the council, if the council decides they want to move forward, further explore on this, I will have that conversation. But if at this point they prefer not to, I will not engage him to spend some time on this at the cost, for the cost of the community, for the town.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Jill Stern, I see you're here this evening with us, and I thank you for that. I just want to go to the council and see if they have any comments on this, or any thoughts after, after the last meeting we had. Sven?
Yeah, a couple of thoughts. One, I think that the discussion regarding affordable housing is a very important one. Andre, and I think all the council is strongly supporting everything that will help with affordable housing on the island. And I think that that's a great idea. I think there were some alternatives. My hope is that that we can that the owner, Mr. Stern, will have a discussion with potentially the homeowners association just to the, what would that be, the west? The east. Chris Willey, I believe, is in charge of that, or is president of that homeowners association. And then I also hope that the conversation can continue should opportunities open up. But I am a little nervous about the large causeway going across one of the larger swamps. And I just think that there are other solutions that are opportune for that land, should it be possible.
Thank you, Sven. Anybody else, Keith?
I just would, one of the things, Mary Ann, that we also talked about is, and I don't have the map in front of me, but if I recall correctly, there was a bit of a checkerboard of lots with the Nature Conservancy owning several of them. And I think one of the things we suggested we would like the landowners to come and talk to us about is whether they have fully vetted with the Nature Conservancy, whether there's an opportunity to swap lots within that checkerboard to provide them with access off of Highview. So that's, you listed a bunch of the options. That was also one.
That was fun.
Coming off of
Yep.
Highview and because I don't have any idea, where they'd be, but it was pretty readily apparent. I think Martha might have as well. When you look at the map, that it seems to me it might be possible to do that, particularly if it's if the end goal is for an affordable housing development there.
Yeah, we think, when I was looking on that map, when you made the comment at that last meeting, that I did identify one parcel that looks like there was a possibility.
Yeah, it looked like it.
For some swapping. Yeah. Yep, there was one. You're right.
Anybody else, council-wise? Mark?
And Jill, I think you're looking for somewhat of a process of elimination here, and I'm not going to speak for the council, but I think the Thomas property easement is probably off the table. So the directions I would think you'd have to go in now is meeting with the homeowners association and whatever creative thing you can do with what is existing.
Thanks, Mark. And I think that's what we're here to discuss, donations in exchange for an easement across the Thomas property. And I'm hearing that we are not really interested in the use of the Thomas property for that reason. Any more council comments before I go to Jill? Okay.
I don't
Jill,
think, Andre?
go ahead, Martha.
I don't think the Thomas property is really appropriate. The southbound certainly is not. And it's my understanding the northbound looked on a map like it would work, but it's my understanding the back part of Thomas property when you get downtown toward the eastbound is quite wet.
Wet.
That doesn't seem workable either.
Yeah.
So I think that the Thomas property is off the table because it doesn't work.
Okay. Thank you, Martha. Jill Stern, I see you had your hand up and I see you're unmuted. If you'd like to have a comment, that'd be great.
Hey, thanks so much. Can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Okay, great. Again, thank you all for letting me present at the last meeting and giving such serious consideration to the proposal. I had a couple of things I wanted to say. First of all, I thought one of the items that came out of the last meeting was that the town manager was going to look into other development plans on lot 218 to find out if there was a better way to locate that easement. And I guess I understood that loop hadn't been closed in time for this meeting. I don't know to what extent that would be relevant to your decision making. We were somewhat, my engineer was somewhat limited in getting information in locating the first plan he had because it wasn't that obvious where the house was located and some of the other details. So we hadn't realized at the time we put it in, how close it was going to pass to the town manager's house. But we would still be interested if you feel that there's other development planned on that lot that would accommodate an easement across the property. That would be one thing I would just, ask whether that's something to look into before you make a final decision. Secondly, I did reach out after the last meeting to the head of the land trust. She never responded to me. I'm happy to talk to the Nature Conservancy, but I don't believe this is a situation where any lot swaps will accomplish, what we need to do. But I welcome any discussion and let me know who I should talk to. Is it you, Keith, or is it somebody else?
No, it's not me. It's
okay.
I guess it would be Scott Cummings, Chris Littlefield, the Nature Conservancy. They're the ones. I don't know what the land trust owns. I just remember in my mind looking at the maps that the Nature Conservancy owned at least a few lots there, and that they were kind of checkerboarded. So I think what you're hearing from us, again, I don't want to speak for anybody, but from our perspective, at least what I'm hearing is that the Thomas property, we're not especially interested, until there is certainly at least until there's active conversation with the homeowners association, with the Nature Conservancy, because for us, an easement over the Thomas perspective is not a great solution.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I did reach out to Chris Willie as the head of the Pilot Hill Homeowners Association. He said he was going to talk to the other owners. To a certain extent, I'm happy to pursue that, but I just wanted to reiterate to everyone, to put this back in context, that we have the ability to go over the existing road with, and to get DEM approval to do that. I have not pursued that because I believe that that is going to be have a huge impact on a natural resource of the island, a valuable natural resource. I've consulted with our biologists, and others, and they believe that's, that's very important wetland. So instead of pursuing that, I've been looking for ways to accomplish other objectives, preserving a natural resource on the island, a valuable natural resource, at the same time creating opportunities for affordable housing, knowing that's another valuable resource, an important goal for the island. I think I've said before, I'm not a developer. My family is not developers. We've, held property on the island since the 1960s. We love the island. We never, I know people always see those lots checkerboarded and they think there's going to be like 1,000 houses. That's not what we're talking about. There's only 7 buildable lots in that entire area. I proposed to give 3 of them for affordable housing. That leaves 4. I have 2 brothers. We would have to sell 1 lot to finance the road. That leaves 1 lot for each, myself and my brothers. That's been my goal here. We've been paying taxes on this property for, 60 years. We're going to continue to pay. We financially, it's a hardship because the land is sitting there and it's taxed as buildable land. So that's, my mother is turning 90. I'm the one in the family who is, has taken this on to try and resolve this before it goes to another generation. I thought it was a very creative idea to come in on lot 218. I thought the town would be supportive because we are avoiding, you're going to avoid a massive, wetland impact going over the platted road. And plus you're going to get housing for, for our local residents, which I know is a priority. I feel like that, we planned that road so we could go only to the town and we did not have to go to any of the private property interests. I think you all understand that if I have to do that, I'll make some initial attempts. I reached out to Chris Willie, but I have my own timeline I'm working on. And if I can't get a response, you're forcing, maybe that's too strong to say, but in effect, you're forcing us to proceed with a much more destructive route. And I believe the Nature Conservancy, they have not participated when we spoke last time and they didn't participate today. I really am interested why they're taking, if they're opposing this, I don't understand why they're taking a position that's going to result in a much more destructive wetland alteration. So that's why I'm a little confused. I mean, I just wanted to be upfront about this because, I just wanted to make clear, this is a very unusual situation. We've already been told by DEM, maybe being told is too strong a word, but when I went in to meet with them 6 or 7 years ago, And they understood this is property that's been in a family for 60 years. We're not developers. We're paying taxes on it. They know ultimately that either they're going to have to let us go in on the existing road, or they're going to have to pay us for a taking if they don't let us go in. So, right now, I'm at a point where the family is prepared to undertake that. It's going to be a big expense for us, but we've weighed the cost of the expense of the application versus the expense of giving 3 lots to the city. So, so that's why we're balancing some of those costs. I'd rather give those lots to the city than spend it with, lawyers and engineers going into, that other road, which if we do that, we'll have 7 lots and they may all be developed commercially. So, I wanted to put that in that context because I know obviously you don't want to give up lot 218. It's town land. You have other uses, but I wanted you to put this in context, and maybe this didn't come out last time because we were proposing a lot of different options, because I still believe it's in the city's interest to acquire the property and use it the way it wants. But I understand that that's probably too big a thing to bite off at this time. So that's why, I'll go back to the 218 approach. And I really hope with this information that you'll reconsider it because I think it's better for the town. You're going to preserve a natural resource, which, we've been told, many times by the Nature Conservancy and others is extremely valuable to the ecology of the island, as well as to wildlife that's in there and birds and others. You'll be able to, obtain lots for affordable housing or town residents, town workers. That's close to the school. That's adjacent to other property, and you'll let our family resolve this situation where we're continuing to pay taxes on property that is extremely valuable. So thanks so much for giving me this chance to have my say, but I really wanted everyone to understand what we're talking about here, because I think it's there's a lot of complexity. I've been thinking about it for at least 15 years, talking to many people, DEM, natural resource people, lawyers, and I'm really brainstorming on a creative way that can be a win-win for everybody, for the town, for us, for Nature Conservancy, and everyone. So again, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you all for thinking about these important issues. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jill. Much appreciated. Council, if you have any questions on the topic or anything for Jill, let me know. Otherwise, I'll go to Chris Blaine. Hearing none from the council. Chris Blaine, I see your hands up. Chris Blaine. Give him a minute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just urge the council to walk away from this thing at a brisk walk. I mean, this thing came before the zoning board in 1972, and I would encourage every member of the council, Martha might remember it, he went before the zoning board and they pretty much laughed him out of the room then because of checkerboarding. Brad Gorham was the attorney, and Tom Littlefield and John Thomas were on the zoning board. And you should read it. It's in the June article of the Block Island Times, which I have and would share with you, but it's a swamp. It's called Ambrose Swamp for a reason. And I have to tell you, from listening to the last 10 minutes of this meeting, I've never heard it's a veiled threat. Oh, you should do this because if you don't, we're going to do something terrible to a natural resource. I have a hard time with that myself, but I don't think that the Nature Conservancy, and I can't speak for them, I don't think they're going to give up anything that's going to facilitate development in there, nor should they. And I would encourage the council to also take a walk down on a rainy day to the bottom of the Thomas property. And you can judge for yourself what the odds are of putting a road through there. Anyway, like I said, I would encourage you to just walk away from it. And if you want to look at that article, just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I see, Jill, you have your hand up again. Give me a second. Council, any
On-
comments?
Before you go to that, I do remember a long time ago reading, I don't know if it's the court case or the summary of the court case. It was not a newspaper article that I read, and if anybody is interested, I'm sure they can find it somewhere, because that's going to give you better information than any article is. It was an interesting piece, and it was the whole checkerboarding and the small lots. And I think that's when one of the standards on the original zoning came from. With this, I'm not going to get into it because nobody remembers that anyway. Thanks.
Well, I mean, we're just, we're gonna start going off track, I think. And I just think what we're hearing is, if we want to accept lot donations in exchange for an easement across the Thomas property, I can tell from the council that we don't want to entertain this, for whatever reason that is. And so with that, I'll let Jill have a closing comment.
I don't want to belabor it. I just wanted to say it was not a veiled threat that I'm making. I just was trying to describe the reality of the situation and the fact that we do have the right to reasonable use of that property, and we have gone forward in a way that I believe was consistent with trying to contribute to the island in terms of affordable housing and protection of natural resources. So I'll just have to agree or disagree with whoever was speaking. But I do want to say that, and again, I don't know what the reference was to 1972, but by way of background, when my father bought the property in the 1960s, there was quarter acre zoning, and the zoning board took an action to take that away and require increased lot sizes. And he took the town to court and won that at the state Supreme Court. So that was, it was a zoning dispute, as there are many, and time has shown that quarter acre lots do have a value, maybe not over the whole island, but for other uses, including for local residents. So, I'm sorry that, there seems to be such a long standing animosity among island residents to the circumstances leading to my family's subdivision of the property, not just my family. There were three partners at the time, but I hope that's not going to be the basis for the council's decision. And again, thank you for your consideration, and very much appreciate the opportunity.
Jill, I thank you for bringing it to us, and I thank you for joining us this evening. And I don't think our decision is based on animosity. Any other, hang on, Martha, on this or any other topic. We all try to be impartial and fair, and I just hope you don't think that we make our decisions based that way. But under public comment, anybody can have anything to say. Martha?
No, that was exactly why I was suggesting, if anybody was interested in this, the appropriate place to go would be to the record, not to a newspaper article. Because the case was, as I remember, because I was on the zoning board in the 80s, you may remember, and we did look back at that, and that was, as I recall, it was exactly the way Jill has just stated it. I don't think it's even relevant to anything other than it happened.
Right. I appreciate that, Martha. But like I said, the item on our agenda this evening is the lot donations in exchange for an easement across the property. I'm pretty much hearing from a council that doesn't want to entertain this. So I'm going to advise Jill to basically, go with plan A. And it's not a decision based on any animosity that happened in the 70s at all. I will give one more person, Mike at Ab's house, a comment on this. I think you're part of the, the family or something like that. And I would love to hear your comments, but after that, I will close discussion on the topic. Michael, if you could unmute yourself and let us know what's on your mind.
Yes, hi there. Yeah, my name is Michael Abeshouse. I'm Jill's younger brother, one of the three siblings of Arthur Abeshouse, who purchased that property back in the 60s. And I just wanted to say, yes, we love the island. We've had wonderful family experiences there. Just reiterating what Jill has said, that we've simply tried for 40 or 50 years to utilize that property. We paid taxes on it. They're buildable lots. It is discouraging to hear people citing bad memories or issues back from the early 70s. My father passed in 1977. He died on the island. He died of lung cancer, and he was helicoptered off from the house. And the island is very special to us. And again, this is very disappointing because we love the island. We saw it as a win-win-win. The Nature Conservancy, affordable housing, we know, is a huge issue, and we wish to we'd like nothing more than to help people, island workers, be able to have affordable housing on the island, and we see the properties being taken off the market. They can't work there, and the idea of our being able to finally be able to access a couple lots back there and to do good on the island was very encouraging to us, and something that the Affordable Housing Board encouraged us to pursue. And so it is disappointing, but I do hope, again, it's discouraging to tune in and to hear people talk back and to say, walk away from it, and to hear that level of animosity. We love the island. We've been coming there for 50 or 60 years.
Michael, I appreciate that. And I can assure you, as I said before, the council does not make its decisions based on that. Again, this is public comments to a topic.
Right.
I think you still have some options. It's just the council just doesn't want to allow it through the Thomas property.
I understand. Well, we'd be willing. I mean, right. Well, we hope that something can be worked out, and that we can find a way on this, and the people will keep an open mind. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next item on the agenda is to receive and act on communication from Sea Level Rise Staff Task Force regarding the establishment of a town sea level rise committee. Council, you have something in your packet on this?
So do you want me to run with this really quickly for the council?
Yes.
Yeah. As I understand it, back well over a year ago now, the council did form a sea level staff task force. They met on numerous occasions, and then they came forward with recommendations of what the purpose would be, the membership, and potential members. This was presented to the council on February 4th, 2020, around that day. At least that's when the memo's dated. And we all know what happened about a month later with COVID, and then the transition of the interim town manager to now myself. So Councilor Sven Ritzem asked that we revisit this and probably explore establishing this sea level task force, and let them, because there are initial tasks of the committee is outlined here. So I would recommend that the council really consider doing this and letting this committee run. The potential members are included here. There'll be one potential member I looked that I did not see on here. and that'll be the town planner. I think Allison should also be included in here because she can be the staff liaison with this committee. So that's why this is before you this evening.
I'm sorry, who is being proposed for this committee?
The potential members haven't been determined. The memo lists who could be potential members. All I'm saying that one person as a potential member, I think should be the town planner, and she was not included in here. And I guess the original C-level task force included the staff that was listed in the memo.
Andre?
I was just waiting. I was just going to call on you, Sven, because I know you had a lot to do with it.
Well,
So
I'll say this as nicely as I can. There was somebody who was asked by the council to go and come up with an idea or a draft on sort of the charter, taking the task force recommendations and sort of come up with a structure. And that person clearly got COVID tripped up. So that person didn't quite fulfill their obligations.
Is it you,
that was me. That was me. So I'd love to work with Marianne and maybe in a month or so bring this to the council. I do think the town planner is a great ad, and sort of talk about what would the charter be of this group, recommend or thoughts on the group itself and potential outside influencers. As I think all of you know, there's a number of very well-known, world-renowned professionals that that we can somehow tap into and utilize, including Michael Oppenheimer and others, University of Connecticut, University of Rhode Island, etc. So if it behooves the council, even though I didn't do it the first time, I'd love to work with Marianne and by mid-July come up with a next round where we can actually look at sort of scope, size, purpose, timing, dynamics. If Marianne's up for that, I'd love to do that.
I'm sure she can squeeze some time in her light schedule these days.
I'm pleased to see, though, I'm not one of the potential members of the committee, so I'll be happy to go Sven get it up and running.
I was just, it's wonderful. I'm glad this is restarting. And I just would say one of the different, one of the changes in the reality is that I think there is potential for new rounds of funding for projects. And I just, when you're doing whatever the charge or the charter or whatever, however you refer to it, please include staying on top of potential funding opportunities for prospective projects.
Yeah, that's great, Keith. And thanks for reminding me. That did come up with the Senator Reed one.
Yeah, it did.
Today. And he's very active in the environment community. And a big supporter of anything environment and open space. So I think Sven taking the lead on that is desirable on our part because you know, he can be all plugged into that aspect anyway. Mark, go ahead. Mark?
Yeah, Keith's comment is already listed under the initial tasks of this committee. I'd just like to consider one more bullet point on that final list at the end of this page, and that is to review existing plans and proposals and ideas from other coastal and shoreline communities.
That's reasonable, Mark. I thought you were going to say deer eradication.
Well,
put on the beacon
on this one.
Now look what you did.
Threw him off his game.
Slowly I turned.
I know where this is being discussed back a year ago, I think it was, right? Yeah.
A year plus.
I'd say run with it. I mean, what other kind of action do we need to have? Martha, do we have any comment from you tonight on this before we move on?
No, I would just, I have had some conversations about, and I know the people that you really need to get are the people that are just so difficult. I'm not going to name any names, but folks who have real practical hands-on knowledge, because I think I've told some of you this before. The beach from Jerry's Point to Scotch after Sandy, and the beach according to the computer-generated models of what happened in Sandy, were two entirely different animals. And I understand, people use the best tools, best science at hand. Our best tools and science at hand, our best tools at hand are the folks who are here. And there's some of them who have been around quite a while and have had a lot of experience. And I feel like that's the group that's not very well represented here. And that's the only thing I would say. So I've talked to Sven about this already.
Okay. Thank you, Martha. Okay. So
I'll do a better job. Couldn't be worse.
well, he's antsy tonight. Okay, discuss and act on number 5. Discuss and act on taxi license relinquished May 18th and 2 requests to defer acceptance of the license. This came on the agenda this evening before the taxi commission has met on this. And I think we need a memo from the taxi commission as to these items before we take any action on that. They are going to be meeting, I think, tomorrow or next week. I met with Brad. I talked to Brad about this today. And we are able to put whatever their recommendations are on this. This is why there's nothing in your packet about it. Whatever their recommendations are will go on the 16th meeting when we have the public hearings dealing with the taxis anyway. So it's not going to affect anything, but I think, yeah, we need to have a memo and a thought from the taxi commission before voting on any of this. Anybody have any comment or concerns about that idea? So we're just not going to discuss or take action on this item tonight.
Agree.
Okay. Anybody else? Martha and Mark, I know, don't bother. Recusing, that is. Next item on the agenda is to receive and act on a request from the Rhode Island Boy Scouts for temporary permit to allow portable restroom facilities from July 5th to October 15th at Camp Sandsland, Plot 10, lots 33 and 48 off of Connecticut Avenue. Mary Ann, Molly, I know what this is all about.
Yep. This is good to see this memo from the Boy Scouts. That means that they're opening camp. If you remember clearly, last year they couldn't. And they requested a special use permit, which they go through every year to go through this process. They need to come before the council and ask for the special use permit. I asked Dave Sniffen to work with them regarding the porta potties and things like that, and Dave has done it, and he's fine with the council authorizing the special use permit this evening.
Thank you. So I'll make a motion to approve the request of the Narragansett Council of the Boy Scouts of America for a special temporary permit to allow portable restroom facilities on the Boy Scouts property, Camp Sandsland, from July 5th, 2021 to October 15th, 2021.
Second.
Seconded by Mark. More discussion?
Just some questions and concern.
Yep.
The question is, we used to get individual requests from each and every pack, if that's the correct thing, or den, whatever it is for Boy Scouts. This is just one blanket request now from the Boy Scouts as a whole?
This is specifically for the property that's listed. This is their camp.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just thinking on the lines of prevention now. We love the Boy Scouts and we love when they're here, but my concern is when they get here. What do we do as far as safety and prevention of these Boy Scouts when they ride like a group of wonderful cyclists, either helmeted or unhelmeted, in long lines where the potential for something bad to happen isn't addressed? Do we let each and every Boy Scout group know that not only do the Boy Scouts need to be helmeted at all times, but their leaders, and to stay in single file, and to also stay as close as possible.
Thanks, Mark, for that. I think what's on the agenda is portable restrooms. And if you want to tie that to portable restrooms, you will take them away and give them shovels if they don't comply. But I think we can have that discussion, but that's not the topic of discussion tonight. Or if we could maybe just have the town manager send out an email, with the rules of the road. But visits and road safety.
I see this as the only opportunity to address the Boy Scouts prior to the summer, and I just don't want an article above the fold of the Block Island Times with an unhappy ending. That's all. I'll take any opportunity I can to try to prevent an accident from happening. If we can piggyback it on this, well, that would be great.
I'll tell you what. We can.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mary Ann.
I was just going to say, what I'll do is I'll reach out to this gentleman who sent us the letter and just say to them, this came up at a meeting, and can he get the message out? And I have to agree with Mark with what I saw this weekend. And I don't know if they were Boy Scouts or what, but I did see groups of young folks with adults that were riding bikes, and some were inexperienced bicyclists, and they were a little weavy and heading out into the road. So I can ask him to reach out to all other troops and then try to think of a way to address other groups of young adults and children that are out here riding a bike and spend the end of the day. The last thing, I agree with you. They have to have a great time during the day. You hate to see something happen.
I just want to see them all return home safely so they can use those.
Right. I agree.
Can we just be part of, I know this is road safety. To me, this falls under road safety. And I think that we could maybe make it part of the chief's readout and make it part of, part of the road safety, and maybe a letter from the chief or a call from the chief or something would have some weight. And I know, I get it. It's just, they're in a big group. They're all excited to be here, and we've seen it for years. And go ahead, Sven.
Mary Ann, I like your idea with the letter. The other way to reinforce that, because as we know, so many people, a different pack comes or group comes in weekly, and sometimes they have better communication than others. Maybe a sign there at Camp Sands Land, sort of reiterating the rules or best practices, whatever you want to call them. I'm just thinking if they have some way to make sure that all the troops and all the kids see them, and they can make it somewhat into the scout policy. I think it's great they're out here. I think it's a great program. I like the Scouts a lot, but I agree with Mark that I just want to make sure it's safe.
Thank you, Sven. Motion has been made and seconded. Hearing no more discussion on the topic and seeing no hands up from the public. All those in favor? Keith?
Yes.
And Sven?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
I'm in favor of Boy Scouts and Porta Johns for the summer. Motion to carry 5-0. Next item on our agenda. Boards, committees, and commissions. Discuss and act on, number one on that agenda is discuss and act on motor vehicles for hire vacancy, 1 3-year position, not a licensee. Does the taxi clerk have any? Is there anybody who wants to be on the motor vehicles for hire vacancy, a 3-year position, not a license?
There were no requests to fill that position. Nobody volunteered.
Thank you. So there's no action to be taken on that this evening. The next item is discuss and act on the zoning board vacancy, a 1-year alternate position. Is there anybody that wants to be on this zoning board as an alternate?
No.
Okay.
Can I just
we
say
cannot-
one thing, Andre, for me, since it's my
Well, here's what we're
spot?
talking about, of course.
Yeah. I am probably, as of this week, will have concluded the matters that I sat in hearing on. So I'll be submitting my resignation, because I think in order to conform with the charter, I've probably already overstayed my time there. Because if I recall correctly, the way the charter now reads, it is for a specific duration or for a specific purpose. I was sort of perhaps inappropriately taking it upon myself to sort of serve while there were still, while there were hearings that I had sat on that had not reached decision yet. I was staying, but I guess that's the usual long-winded way of saying I'm resigning, and that appointment becomes, I think, more urgent soon.
Thank you, Keith, for your information on that. Not for resigning.
Some might think so. Depends which seat you're in.
I mean, the position's needed there. They need an alternate if,
Yeah.
So, all right, we can re-advertise that with an exclamation mark, I guess. The next item is discuss and act on the Water Commission vacancies, 1 5-year position and 2 1-year alternates. Molly, the clerk, anything there? Any letters of interest?
Yes, there was. Hold on one sec, please. Peter McNerney and Lars Trodson would like to be reappointed. Peter McNerney had the full term and Lars Trodson was the alternate.
Okay. I'll make a motion to appoint Peter McNerney as in a 5-year position on the Water Commission and Lars Trodson to a 2-year alternate of the Water Commission.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. Comments?
Was Lars, sorry.
Go ahead. Comments. Go ahead, Sven.
Yeah. Was Lars on sewer or was Lars on water?
He's not in the meeting right now, so he's going to be on water even if he was on sewer. I can't answer that question.
I was asking Molly.
Lars was an alternate on both boards.
Thank you. I didn't know that. Thank you.
I like my solution better. Motion is made. All those in favor? Martha?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
Sven?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I'm in favor. Motion will carry 5-0. Next item is discuss and act on sewer commission vacancies. There's a 1 5-year position and a 2-year alternate position. Molly, is there anybody who seeks interest?
Yes, the same people. Peter McNerney and Lars would like to be reappointed.
Okay, I will make a motion to appoint Peter McNerney to a 5-year position on the sewer commission and Lars Trodson as a 2-year alternate on the sewer commission.
Aye. Second.
Motion is made and seconded by Sven. Comments? All those in favor? Martha?
Aye.
Yes.
Sven?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
In favor, motion carries 5-0. Discuss and act on appointments to the Police Advisory Commission. It's been a long time coming, but we're here. I think we have a good group of candidates to work with. I'm just wondering how we want to handle this moving forward.
We have a full list of the candidates.
Molly, could you read off a list of the candidates? And I know I asked you for this today, and there was one missing. Jim Hinthorn's name was not on the list today.
Sure.
Mind reading the list off too for the council?
I'm happy to. Jim Hinthorn, Andy Transu, Ann Walsh, John Spear, Jess Willey, Brad Marthins, Elizabeth Holmes, Molly O'Neill, and John Lehman, who points out that he's not a full-time resident. In addition, there was another offer received late today that you all have seen from
Carolyn Collins.
Thank you, Carolyn Collins, exactly.
Thank you. And we do know that, just for, to be fair in consideration, John Lehman, we do know that there's, we cannot appoint him, as is he a resident, taxpayer, voter. I just want to make sure I'm giving everybody a fair shake.
Yeah. Let me pull the charter out really quickly and see what it says.
I don't think it says anything on the topic, but go ahead.
May.
It's in the 900s.
Yeah.
Andre, while Marianne is checking, I think it's shows the importance of this new committee that 10 wonderful people came forward and want to be part of the, help out the town, and thank each and every one of them for doing that.
And I mean, following up on that, Mark, I have to say that it's an interesting group because you have people who are engaged in town government. You have people who are, who have businesses. Who, it's a really terrific group, I think. I don't know how do you want to go about this, Andre? Have you thought about it? Because I know I have a couple who I think would be terrific, and I'm sure we all do.
Yeah, we've been through this before. It's always difficult.
Yeah.
That's for the new group.
There's nothing under police advisory that talks about qualification, that being of an elector or a resident or anything like that. Molly, do you know of anything in the charter that talks about boards and commissions and whether or not they need to be residents and or electoral?
I'm looking now.
That's why I can't find anything.
There's another complication in that we have to slot people into term lengths. Right?
Right. Let's hear this though. Let's get the list first and then slot.
Right. Yep.
We have to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's two people looking for that answer about John Lehman. And explain this to me about the public too, about slotting term limits. So we are choosing somebody for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, and 1 year?
Right.
Okay. I've looked at the charter and I just think that there's no, it doesn't speak to anything about residents or not.
I don't think it does. Well, I'd like to say that I think that Molly O'Neill would be a very valuable member. I served with her on charter, so she knows sort of what the intentions were on this, that it was intended to be advisory, and given the range of her engagement and involvement in the community, I think she would be a terrific member.
Sven.
Andre?
Hang on, Martha. I guess Sven.
I agree on unless we're gonna go. Are we gonna go around and name names? Okay.
Well, hold on a minute. Yeah, I suppose that's the best way to do it, unless you want to throw 5 names out there we all vote on. But I think a name.
Why don't we should do everybody name by name. Why don't we just each have 5 people, and whoever comes out the top.
Okay. Do the councils have 5 people that they like? Have you chosen 5 people you like, Keith, Sven?
Yes.
Martha? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
But I'm totally open.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a terrific group. It's not like we're going to go wrong.
I would say anybody I'm not selecting doesn't mean that they wouldn't be phenomenal.
All right. Yeah. So Keith, you started. I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right. Okay. Molly O'Neill, Andy Transu, Brad Marthins, Elizabeth Holmes, and Carolyn Collins.
Okay. Sven.
I'm going to go top. No, Jim Hinthorn, Andy Transu, John Spear, Molly O'Neill, Carolyn Collins.
Low down.
All right.
Yep.
Jim Hinthorn,
Yep.
Andy Transu,
Yep.
John Spear, Molly O'Neill, Carolyn Collins. And again, the others would be great as well.
Okay. Martha or Mark? Martha?
Andy, Molly, Carolyn, John Spear, and Jim Hinthorn.
I like that list.
I know.
I will say that those are my exact choices too, just to cut on any discussion before, so I don't have to list mine. So.
Can I repeat that last list, please? Was it Andy, Molly, Carolyn, Jim, and John?
Yes.
Thank you. And that's doubled because Andre has the same.
And Mark,
John Spear.
Yes,
How about Mark?
thank you.
Mark, what do you got?
Sorry.
Yeah, I've spoken with every one of them except for the 11th hour person, wonderful Carolyn. My list is Jim Henthorn, Molly O'Neill, Andy Transu, John Spear, and Brad Marthams.
So the only difference we have, and I favored Brad, but in looking at all the things in there, because Brad seems to be the second runner of the sixth person on these, and plugging them all in. Okay, so I will make a motion to appoint Jim Hinthorn, Andy Transu, John Spear, Molly O'Neill, and Carolyn Collins Perry to the Police Advisory Commission.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. Now, I know there's some, if you want to, some discussion in there.
Other than we could make 2 all-star teams.
I know.
Every one of them.
Let's start with one right now. It's great. Did you just see me just double think that? No, we have an item on our agenda. And everybody else, I do certainly appreciate everybody who's applied for this, and including John Lehman, because I think an outside, somebody with an outside and a bird's eye view of the island can be very helpful at some point. But I also know John Lehman, where he is not going to lack in giving us his opinions either way. And I don't think he needs to actually be on the police commission for that. Motion has been made and seconded to appoint, and I'll read it again, Jim Hinthorn, Andy Transu, John Spear, Molly O'Neill, and Carolyn Collins Perry to the newly created Police Advisory Commission. I'm going to make that motion and call on it, and then do we go back and decide who serves for how long?
Yes.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, Martha?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
And Keith?
Yes.
I am in favor of the motion. Motion will carry 5-0. I guess it slipped me about who has to, put the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on there. And I'm willing to do that. I'm just wondering if we have any input on them for that. I mean, I guess they're all signing up for 5 years if they knew. But Sven?
I'm not trying to be weird, but is it worth to ask the group? I mean, you may have a couple of people volunteer to say, look, I'll do a 2-year stint, or, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. We can appoint it. I just think we're sort of forced.
I mean, I would always like to ask the groups before assigning them those things. Maybe that's something they could discuss at their first meeting and who they want to do it.
Right. Let them come back and, I think.
But on the flip side, I think they're all on board for 5 years. But I'd rather ask them. Is that a problem? Is that going to be a problem with forming?
I like it.
I had numbers here, but I think this is a better idea.
Okay.
I was going to suggest go alphabetically and assign.
Yeah, I was too.
All right, you know what, let's just do this because it'll keep it off another agenda, and I don't think it's important enough to actually, because I do think that these people, let's just do it. Mark, what are your numbers? So we can blame you.
I'm throwing my numbers away. I think we should let them decide.
I agree.
Okay, we'll let them decide. And we will pick it up, you know, after they have a meeting. Mark, all right, appreciate that. All right. Very exciting.
I'm sorry, Andre, is Marianne or the clerk? I just always want to make sure that for all those great people that put their names in but didn't get appointed, that at least a note goes out to them, thanking them and saying there are other openings. Because I think it would be good. They're all great people, and some of them would be fun to get involved more and more in the town.
Will do.
Thank you.
I thank you for that. And Chief, I see you're online here. You're with us this evening. It's a very wonderful group, and I think you've met most of them already. And I'm really excited to have this in place, and we move forward. Next item on the agenda. On that agenda, boards, committees, and commissions, discuss historic district commission membership. This is on our agenda because we have a town councilor, Martha, who's been serving on the historic district commission for many, many years. And the changes in the charter, obviously we discussed that earlier, that it's either a set period of time for councilors or for a special reason. So we are here to discuss that commission membership, given the new members of the new changes to the charter. I see a hand up. Oh, Keith, go ahead. Is that from-
I was just going to say, I haven't talked to Martha about this, but there's a lot going on in terms of downtown development. And I think for me anyway, every time I read about historic district, I feel like Martha's making a very good point about some aspect of some building. So, I mean, the charter does enable us to establish for a set period or for a specific purpose. And to me, at the very least, I would hope that she'd be willing to serve while some of these proposals are under consideration by HDC.
Thank you, Keith.
I don't mean to be presumptuous on presume on Martha's time, but
thank you, Keith. Anybody else have any comments? Mark?
Yeah, we do have a very gifted and highly eligible person to come in to take the position, and the charter is what the charter is. I know it personally because the same thing happened to me 30 years ago when I had to stay on zoning for Solviken. But you get off when you're allowed to get off, when it's the time, just like Keith spoke of earlier with zoning board. So given the fact that we have a qualified person to come in, thank you for time well spent, Martha, on HDC. But I think we should make the move now.
Thank you, Mark, for those comments. Sven? Do you have anything on the topic? Okay, thank you. Martha? You're muted, Sven, but I can see you. Like I'm reading the language.
My lips moving. I hear both Mark and Keith, and I think if there's a number of issues going on right now, and there's at least one or two that I can think of, if there's a time period and Martha's able to keep on, I'm fine with that. But based on the charter, just sort of based on the way it is, I think it has to come to an end at some, there has to be a transition at some point, from my point of view. I mean, it was the same like when I had to leave planning board it wasn't in the charter, but it just became very clear that there were too many double votes or conflicts, and so, sorry.
Okay. Martha, I'll give you an opportunity to comment on this. And obviously, I don't think you don't need to. But I will go to, because this is something that we've been, this speaks to our rules of procedure and council rules that have changed since considerably since the charter's been put in place. And we've been trying to get Kathy and Mary Ann have been working on, presenting, putting these all in, and they just keep getting, I mean, this is, we discussed this as a an agenda item. And I know Keith said many times, like, and I too, was like, I'm just not sure of the procedure for this. And there are so many changes with the charter that meld with all of that stuff that we haven't had a chance to have the legals pointed out to us on this. Molly, what does the charter say right now with regards to these appointments? I mean, because I know we had the old charter, we had the new charter, and what is the charter? How does the charter read on this note right now?
There is language in the charter specifically about the HDC. It's, do you want me to read it?
Please do. I don't have it.
It says this, it's a full paragraph. There shall be a historic district commission for the town, which shall have the responsibility under applicable state law to carry out the provisions and purposes of the historic zoning ordinances of the town, to receive and act upon applications filed by owners of property within the historic districts. It goes on to talk about the what the HDC does. And then it says the Historic District Commission shall consist of not less than 3 nor more than 7 members, along with alternate members, as the town council shall determine. Said members to be appointed by the first warden, each to serve a term of 3 years, said terms to be so arranged that is nearly possible, an equal number of terms shall expire each year.
So that appointment's made by the first warden and not the town council?
That's as it's written in the charter, section 904.
Okay, I believe you. I was just going to pull it up on ClerkPace.
And I think, was that the section you were looking for, or was it the other one?
I think it was the other one.
Because the only thing that I have to say is that and I am in fact being sarcastic when I say this, I thank you all very much for giving me a heads up that this is what you were talking about on the council item. I think the lack of courtesy speaks volumes about, I'm glad at least, Keith, you're getting off zoning, so at least I can't say what I was thinking about saying. There's a bit of a gender divide here. And I did, in fact, say to somebody, I think Keith at least will be the first one to come up with that and realize it. Any exception, when I was last reappointed, there was an exception because the old charter did require there be an exception. And I think I just thought it was for the term, whatever the duration of the term was. The language previously was may make exception to this prohibition in individual cases as it deems best for the welfare of the town. What was added is any such exception shall be related to a specific circumstance and shall be granted for a specific and limited duration, which these are 3-year terms. I simply took that as the term. This is not a lifetime appointment. That's just only for information.
Thank you, Martha. How far into your term are you?
I don't know, honestly.
Molly, town clerk. When did we appoint Martha? I think it was,
I'm looking it up now.
I don't remember appointing her in the past couple of years. I
think you must.
At any rate, while that's being looked up, I'd like more time on this.
Martha's term expires in December.
Thank you. I need more time on this. I've learned things tonight that I didn't know. So I want to ask the council, what do you want to do on this tonight?
Well, it sounds like under the charter, you're the appointing authority. So if you need more time, take more time.
Well, is this the only,
You know,
the only position in the, is this the only board and committee for the town that is first warden only?
I believe so.
All right,
I think you can also give people the right to camp.
sorry?
The first or second warden can also give people the right to permission to camp.
That I did know, but I don't want to advertise that. Thank you. Thank you, Martha. Mary Ann, I want to have a discussion about the rules and procedures in the charter on this topic. This would be making a decision with no forethought of how the outcome. So I'd like to wait on this, not long. Okay. Does the council?
I would say, Andre, if you're going to do this procedurally, if the majority of the council does wish to remove me from the Historic District Commission, that will create a vacancy and that will have to be advertised.
Well, I know. And so that's what I will do. That's where I'll base my thinking. And so Martha's not going to resign. We would have to take a vote to remove Martha Ball from the Historic District Commission, create an opening, and then advertise for a month, or not? Molly Fitzpatrick, the clerk, I'm asking you that procedure.
It needs to be advertised for a month. I don't know about voting to remove her. Any vacancy needs to be advertised for a month.
Well, so the vacancy would be created by either Martha resigning or a vote of the council to remove her. Is that correct?
I don't know if the council can vote to remove her. I just don't know about
That's
that.
why.
Okay, my decision alone, or the council's decision, there are some answers that need to be answered here. There's some questions that need to be answered. And I don't mind waiting on that. Mark, I see you got your hand up.
It's my understanding we had a letter of interest from a Steve McQueenie on this.
Right.
Molly, is it true? Or is it overdue?
And that's the question I was going to have. I'm not sure if that letter came in while there was an opening or not. I just don't know.
You had a letter from Steve McQueenie, it's true,
Yep.
offering to serve on the HDC.
Okay. So was that an unsolicited letter from a vacancy that was created and it was posted for 30 days? Or was that just
Yes.
an individual saying, I'd like to be on this?
The position was posted along with the zoning board. It was posted a while ago. We got the one letter. It looked like there was no movement in zoning or HDC, so the posting was removed. And that is, that's my mistake. I probably should have continued to advertise both vacancies.
Okay, so you're saying that, just to wrap this up, you're saying that once once there's a vacancy, it needs to be advertised for 30 days.
That's
Again.
right.
Okay,
No, there was an HDC vacancy that was filled.
right. I'm just, yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to take notes on the procedure on this because this, some things I've heard tonight on this topic I haven't heard before, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Andre, if indeed you are the decision maker, then I'm fine with you taking your time until you're ready to make a decision.
Well, it seems to be that's the way to go because Martha's involved with some stuff anyway, and I don't think we have to make this decision tonight. Mary Ann?
I don't want to talk about, I just found something in the charter as to electors and who can be on committees. So if you're ready to wrap this discussion up, I'll let you know so that we all know what the provision is as relates to that.
Yeah, go for it.
So what it says, it's in the general provisions, which is the very last paragraph in the 900 series, which is, just kind of weird somehow how these things are indexed. It says all appointees to boards and commissions shall be electors and residents of the town during their service thereon, provided, however, that if in its judgment, the appointment of a person or persons who may not be elector or residents of the town is in the best interest of the council may make individual exceptions in such cases.
And that's section what?
It's in 911.
Thank you. I
That
mean,
really references the John Lehman question before, right?
yeah.
Right.
We had, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't think it was going to work, but I just wanted to give anybody who applied a fair shake and, consideration. We did have a lot of locals, and we did have the rest of them were all, residents, year-round residents who contribute, lots of things to the community. So I think we were all set with that.
Well, I wasn't going to sleep tonight until I found this, so I'm glad I found it.
We're glad you.
All right, we have things to think about on historic district. We all set to wrap up that discussion? Everyone go with that? Okay. Item on the agenda number 8, receive and act on the minutes of, first of all, is everybody prepared to approve all these minutes this evening? Yes? Everybody's read them all in their packet? Any corrections? Are there any corrections you have off the top of your head for closed session minutes?
All right, doing close first.
No, I just want to know if there's any questions about closed ones, so we would have to do those in closed session?
No,
So-
I do have
Sorry, Martha?
I have a question. Molly had asked me about something, and I tried to get a hold of her today, and she never got back to me. Is that set of minutes in this packet?
It is not, no.
Fine, thank you.
Okay, so I'll go through the list. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 21st, December 21st, 2020.
Andre?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. If does anybody have any objections, or can we do these all in bulk?
I wouldn't mind doing them in bulk. Sometimes folks
I'm
want.
good.
Have you read them all? Does the council have any problems doing?
have.
No. Keith, you good with bulk? Are you muted? You're good with bulk. Okay. Mark, you good with that? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I got a lot of them here, so let me go.
We can go through them one by one, so you can question them individually. That's fine.
Okay. You want to do that? Cool.
All right. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of December 21st, 2020.
Second.
Seconded by Phil.
All right, hold on, let me go through them all.
Oh, you don't have to go through them all. We're doing December 21st. They're not in order. That's the problem. That's how.
These minutes, I'm going to hold Mary Ann to that bullet about 506J, submitting an annual report to impact seasonal fluctuation. It's on page 3. Little humor, Mary Ann, little humor.
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
That's what I'm trying to do here. Yep, get them. They're just volume. I got them. What? Let's go for it.
December 21st. Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor, Keith
Yes.
and Sven.
Right.
Martha?
So we're doing them, wait a minute, we're doing them one by one now?
Yes, Mark.
Fine, whatever,
Mark hadn't had them all. I don't want to blame Mark, but I mean, we'll do them one by one.
fine.
All right. I'm in favor. Mark, you in favor of December?
Aye. Yes.
All right, all those in favor, motion carries on December 21st, 5-0. January 4th, 2021, make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
Second by Sven. All those in favor, Keith,
Yes.
Martha,
Aye.
and Mark.
Aye.
Sven.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Motion carries January 4th, 2021. Motion be in order to accept the minutes, approve the minutes for January 6th, 2021.
Second.
I make a motion to approve.
Seconded by Keith. We're on January 6th, 2021. Motion been made and seconded by Keith. All those in favor? Sven?
Aye.
And Keith?
Yes.
Martha?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I'm in favor. January 6th, 2021. Motion carries 5-0.
Hey, Marianne, point 3 of those minutes, we should definitely keep sort of in a good log. That was everybody's goal, sort of.
Yes.
It's good minutes. They're good minutes from that.
Motion be in order to approve the minutes of February 9th. Oh, hold on a minute. January 13th.
January 13th.
Closed. All right. those
January
are-
13th. Second.
Hold on. Motion was order January 13th, 2021, closed session. Seconded by Sven. All those in favor, Martha?
Aye.
Sven?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
And Keith?
Yes.
I am in favor. Motion carries 5-0 to approve the minutes of January 13th, closed session, 2021. Motion be in order to approve the minutes of January 2nd, 2021, closed.
Is that January 20th?
January 20th, 2020.
Thank you. Second.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor? Mark?
I'm going to abstain. I wasn't present.
Thank you. Martha?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
Sven?
Aye.
I'm in favor. Motion carries 4-0 with the abstention of Counselor Emmanuel. Motion be in order to approve the minutes of February 9th, 2021.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor? Keith?
Yes.
Mark?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
Ben?
Yo.
I'm in favor. Motion carries. Approve the minutes 5-0, February 9th. Motion be in order for February 17th to approve the minutes of February 17th, 2021.
Second.
Seems like years ago, February 17th. Motion's been.
You weren't there.
Just looking at, yeah, just looking at these. All right, anyway, motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of February 17th, 2021. All those in favor, Martha?
Aye.
Keith?
Yep.
Ben?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0, February 17th, 2021 minutes. Motion be in order to approve the February 19th minutes.
Second.
Let me withdraw that motion.
You weren't there.
Motion be in order to, no, I didn't actually know. I just want to go back to February 17th. I want to make a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of February 17th.
Second.
Yeah.
Seconded by Keith. All those in favor? Martha?
File, which one was that?
February 17th closed.
What was it about? I've got them in two different piles.
Can we just, Champlain's. Actually, it's
Good
about a
idea.
number of things. It's about a number of things. That was on the agenda.
Martha,
February
was
7th.
Champlain's, the police the police.
You know, I'm going to
contract.
vote in favor. So it's just easier. I'll trust the best we get it right.
Fenimore and Fisher.
Motion's been made, seconded. Call the roll. Keith?
Yes.
Okay. Mark? You go with February 17th closed, Mark?
Yes.
I am in favor. Motion carries 5-0. Motion be in order for the February 19th, 2021, open and closed.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor? Keith,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Martha,
Aye on the open.
I'm sorry?
Aye on the open.
Yeah.
She was recused on the closed.
Right, okay. So we'll do the open sessions first, and motion was in order to February 19th was an open session. All those seconded by Sven. Keith, you good?
Yep.
And Mark?
Yes.
And Sven's good? Martha's good. I approve. Motion carries 5-0. Motion be in order to approve the minutes of February 19th closed.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor? Martha, you're going to, Martha,
I'm abstaining.
abstain. Okay. And Mark?
Aye.
Sven?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes, sir.
I'm in favor. Motion carries 4-0 with the abstention of Councilor Ball. Motion would be in order to approve the March 1st open minutes.
Second, sorry.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor? Mark
Aye.
and Keith.
Yes.
Martha.
Aye.
Sven.
Aye.
I approve. March 1st minutes. Motion carries 5-0. Motion be in order to approve the March 3rd open meetings, open session meetings.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor? Sven? What?
Yes, with the comment, I really appreciate all the work that the medical center has done and the building task force.
This is another good one with the initiatives. March 3rd. Yes, you see the rules of procedure. We got to get those rules of procedure on our agenda. And I know that they've been sidetracked, but I just want to bring them up again tonight. Keep it on everybody's mind. Motion seconded by Sven. All those in favor, March 3rd, Martha?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
And Sven?
Aye.
Approved. March 3rd. Motion carries 5-0. Motion would be in order to approve the March 3rd closed session meetings. Minutes, not meetings.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. All of those in favor, Martha?
Aye.
And Keith?
Yes.
And Mark?
Aye.
And Sven's reading them right now.
No.
All those in, motion carries 5-0 on March 3rd closed. Motion is in order to April 7th, approve the April 7th open meetings, open minutes.
Second.
Seconded by Sven, April 7th, open. All those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
And Mark?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
And
Aye, and then I have a question for Mary Ann in a minute when we're done.
go ahead, ask your question.
Mary Ann, when we were doing, or Molly and Mary Ann, when we were talking all about the point-to-point program, we went through a number of revisions as to what to call it. And here on point 6, it was Jitney. And we all know the discussions around Jitney. And so I didn't know how one dealt with sort of minutes like that when probably the wrong words were used. Does that just sort of go in the minutes as they were used, or?
That's a legal question, I think. You want to hold off on these minutes?
No, I'm not just approved them, but it was really more of a question like, you know, if we shouldn't have used a certain word and it was used inappropriately, how does one deal with the minutes? It was my question.
So if you're looking at April 7th, it's number 6, it says receive and act on Jitney pilot program. I'm going to assume and maybe I shouldn't. That's how it appeared on the agenda.
No,
Is
it
that the
did.
one you're talking about?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
yeah. Yes.
So if it appeared on the agenda that way, then how the minutes are presented,
Should follow. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor? Right, no, Sven, we're
just did it.
in favor.
Just did it.
We've already called that. Okay, so you're all good with these, Sven?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was really a process question. Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
Motion will carry for the approval of April 7th, 6 PM, open session. Make a motion to approve the April 7th closed session, 6 PM.
Second,
Seconded by Mark. Those in favor, Martha?
Aye.
Mark?
Which ones? I'm sorry. Which ones you talking about?
Too late, Martha. 6 PM, closed session meetings on
Fine.
April 7th.
Never mind.
What's the matter? Do you have a question about
Yeah.
these, Martha?
Yeah, I'm not, is this Champlin's again?
Yes.
You're recused.
Recused.
Yeah, but Molly,
Yes.
in the top, it says present, and then it says later in the voting recused.
That was, she began recusing at the motion to enter closed session.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so motion made and seconded for the closed sessions on April 7th. Martha Ball is abstaining from voting on these. So all those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
Mark?
yes.
Ben?
Right.
I'm in favor. Motion will carry 4-0 with that abstention. I'll make a motion to approve the April 15th open meetings, open minutes.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. Comments? All those in favor, Mark?
Aye.
And Mark, and Martha?
Wait a minute, this is the open meeting at 4:00.
The
Yeah.
She
open
wasn't there.
15th.
You.
Okay,
It says absent 2 people.
Okay. Keith?
we weren't there then.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Ben?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
I'm in favor. Motion carries 4-0. I'll make a motion to approve the April 15th closed session meetings. Minutes.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor, Martha?
I was absent.
Okay. And Mark?
Aye.
Sven?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
I'm in favor. Motion carries 4-0 with that abstention of Councilor Ball. Motion is in order, and I'll make a motion to approve the April 19th open meetings. Oh, open minutes.
Second.
I'm going to kill you, Mark, for making me go through these individually. Seconded by Sven. All those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
Sven?
Yep.
Mark?
Aye.
Martha?
Which are we on? The
April
19th?
April 19th open.
I think I was still recused.
It says you were here in the.
You are. On the sheet.
I mean, I'm both recused and absent, so I have no idea what's going on there.
Okay, so you're recused, you're abstaining on these. Keith, approval?
Yes.
Okay, Martha. I mean, sorry, not Martha, Mark.
Yes.
Ben.
Yep.
I'm in favor. Motion carries with the Ball recusal. Abstention 4-0. Motion would be in order to approve the April 19th closed session meetings.
Second.
Seconded by. All those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
Mark?
Aye.
Thanks, Ben.
Aye.
Martha, you were still recused?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Motion carries 4-0 with my of those minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the April 21st open
Second.
minutes, seconded by Sven. All those in favor? Keith?
Yep.
Mark?
Aye.
Sven?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
I'm in favor. Motion carries 5-0. April 21st open. April. I'll make a motion to approve the April 21st. All right, let me do these twice. Let me do these as a group. April 21st, 6 p.m. closed and 9:45 p.m. closed.
Second.
Seconded by Keith.
Wait.
Okay, well, on April 21st, we had a 6 p.m. closed. And on April 21st, we had a 9:45. One was land trust and one was legal. 9:45.
Yep.
Okay, motion made second. All those in favor on those closed minutes being approved? Keith?
Yes.
Martha?
Are we only talking about 6 o'clock?
I'm talking about 6 and 9:45, but
She was refusing on one.
do you have any comments on this, on the nine?
First.
Do you have any comments on the 9:45, so I don't have to withdraw the motion? If you abstain from both of them, we can move forward.
No, I was abstaining.
Thank you. So Martha, Mark,
Aye.
and Sven, and I already got Keith's vote. Motion will carry 4-0 with the abstention of Martha Ball on the 6 and 9:45 meeting minutes of April 21st. Make a motion to approve the April 28th open meetings, open session minutes.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. Comments? All those in favor? Martha?
Aye.
April 28th open. Mark?
Aye.
Sven?
Aye.
Keith, you got on the April 28th open?
I'm fantastic. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And I'm in favor. All those in favor? I mean, motion carried 5-0. I'll make a motion to approve the 21 meeting minutes.
I'm sorry. So what? Say that again, Andre?
Make a motion to approve the May 4th minutes.
What about May 3rd?
I don't have that on the agenda this evening.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
The financial town meeting?
Yeah, that's the
Okay,
financial. town
okay, we
meeting.
can do it after. Sorry, I see what you're doing. I got it. May
I'm just
4th,
checking the
second.
list on the agenda.
It's at the end. It says review minutes of May 3rd financial town meeting. I just had it in date order. Sorry.
Okay,
If your motion is May 4th, I second it.
of May 4th, yeah. And seconded by Sven. All those in favor, Martha?
Aye.
And Keith?
Yes.
Mark?
Abstaining because I wasn't present.
Okay, Sven?
Yes.
And I approve those. The motion will carry 4-0 with the abstention of Counselor Emmanuel. Motion to approve the minutes of May 7th,
Second.
seconded by Keith. All those in favor, Martha?
This is the open meeting?
May 7th, I only have one meeting for May. We don't have a closed for May 7th?
For the 7th yet?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? You broke up.
It says, it says the closed minutes are under separate cover. Do we have those?
You don't have them yet.
Okay, thank you.
So we have-
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Martha. May 7th, and all those in favor, Martha? And Keith?
Yes.
Mark?
Aye.
Ben?
Right.
I approve. Motion carries 5-0 on the May 7th approval of those minutes. Make a motion to approve the May 18th, 2021 meeting, minutes.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor, Martha?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
Mark?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
I'm in favor. Motion carries 5-0 to approve the minutes of May 18th. Make a motion to approve the minutes of May 24th.
Second, and I really appreciate the clerk's work in getting, 2 weeks ago. So this is great.
Thank you, Sven. Motion made and seconded by Sven on the May 24th minutes. All those in favor, Martha?
I wasn't there. I'm absent.
Mark?
Mhm.
And Keith?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
I'm in favor. Motion carries 4-0 with the abstention of Counselor Ball. Motion-
Andre, on that one, I'm abstaining also because I wasn't present.
Motion carries 3-0 with the abstention of Counselor Emmanuel and Counselor Ball. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 2nd.
I don't have those.
Does everybody not have June 2nd or?
I don't have June 2nd, and maybe I misplaced them.
I don't either.
I think they were on the, I'm sorry. My mistake. They didn't get distributed. Sorry.
Okay. No worries.
Okay, so we'll hold off on the June 2nd and review minutes of May 3rd, 2021 financial town meeting. Review. Does anybody have any comments on the minutes of the financial town meeting?
No actions needed, but I would take comments and corrections.
I'm sorry?
No action is needed by you on the financial town meeting minutes, but I would appreciate comments or corrections if you have any as you read them.
I don't have any additional comments on them.
I don't have any, but I didn't check all the numbers.
Thanks, Sven.
I don't think there's any way of putting this in, but I really think everybody should note that more people voted in favor of everybody should go to financial town meeting than showed up at financial town meeting. And I know some people who voted against that charter change were in fact at financial town meeting.
Thank you, Martha.
I think that's really important. It speaks to a lot.
Thank you, Martha.
Nobody else can even cares.
I don't think it's a lack of caring. It's just, I obviously would, if it's possible, I would put those in under Martha Ball's comments. I don't think it's just really.
Well, going to be any comments, but I just think it's something everybody should be aware of and think about.
Okay. Any other comments on the minutes this evening?
Again, thanks to clerk's office.
I will note that in June 2nd, this is, it's June 7th. June 2nd was our 6-month anniversary together. And half a year.
Got it. Feels like.
Motion to adjourn. Just saying,
Second.
if we were town managers, we would be getting evaluated tonight.
We're getting evaluated. Don't worry.
You got lucky. I know. Believe me.
I'm reality, what lies people are telling, what you were getting evaluated on.
Exactly. That's the problem. But we're all here for the good, better, or worse. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by 2 people. Seconded by Mark. All those in favor, Martha?
Aye.
Yes.
And Sven?
You.
Mark, all good. I approve. Clerks, thank you so much for your efforts on our behalf this evening. It's much appreciated. Thank you for the public for joining us. And hopefully we'll see you at the next meeting.